You don't realize just how good you can feel on a day-to-day basis until you're actually there and you're actually experiencing it. I saw this TikTok the other day.
I hate to admit this. Like, it actually hurts my soul to admit this right now. But they were right about exercise. Oh, no, it does help me feel better. No.
And I thought it was silly, right? But I was also like, you know, it's just so true. It brings a lot back. And I wanted to just like sit down and have this conversation and kind of chat about the differences of before and after, also present time, of adopting a healthy lifestyle. And that can mean so many things, right? It's a very general term. And at first I was like, you know, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna have all this proof, we're gonna have all this like science and like evidence and whatever, but I'm like, no, that's just not the vibe for this video. Like, I just wanna chat. I just wanna feel like I'm talking to a friend. We're on FaceTime, like we're just talking. We're just two girlies sitting here like who are wanting to feel better and like work on themselves and who just love the wellness space. But I wanna talk about like the feeling and just the differences and just how your life literally changes, okay? It changes. Not just how you look, but like literally everything. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So let's rewind. If you're not new here, you probably know a little bit about me and my journey. Super fast, I was a cheerleader throughout high school. I didn't really work out or do much outside of sports. At the very end of high school, beginning of college, I tried to kind of get into working out. I made myself run. At the end of college and COVID time and all of that, I gained a ton of weight and had super unhealthy eating habits and the whole nine, just everything. Very toxic, had no idea what I was doing, which that's a whole other tangent. Like, we're just simply not taught how to eat and how to work out, and it was evident that I didn't know anything about the sorts. Found the 12-3-30, started walking a ton, lost a bunch of weight, started feeling amazing, started learning about nutrition, started feeling better, started sleeping better, eating better, just everything started getting better, had a better work ethic, had better relationships, like my life literally changed. Found strength training, started building muscle, started focusing on protein, trying to recomposition my body right now, and with every phase of the fitness and wellness world that I've progressed through, everything just gets better. It truly just does. But so my before is essentially, I gained a lot of weight and just had no idea how to eat, how to exercise, whatever. So I want to talk about kind of like starting to gain weight. It's interesting because I've been seeing a lot of TikToks about this recently too. It's like people talking about the point when they realized they actually were gaining weight. And in the beginning, you're kind of blind to it. Like, you don't really realize it's happening. And a lot of times, which is how it happened for me, but also I'm realizing a lot of other people online, you don't realize you're putting weight until you see like a picture of yourself or you see it in a certain angle or a certain other way and you're like, whoa, like I didn't know it looked like that. Here are a few examples of some pictures that opened my eyes, and it's interesting because maybe these don't look that bad or dramatic or drastic to you, but certain things about these photos, certain angles and details really gave me mixed emotions and opened my eyes a bit. I was never really someone to weigh myself, so like I didn't really know, but I had really poor eating habits. Like, I would binge eat at night and I didn't know what I was doing, right? I came from college where of course I was eating poorly. You know, I feel like in college there's a whole different culture and lifestyle, and if you don't put in effort to, you know, kind of have like a healthy lifestyle, you just don't, right? I was, you know, drinking a lot on weekends. I was living like the stereotypical college lifestyle, what you would think of when you think of how college kids act. And I think after graduating, I kept that up, but I wasn't walking as much every day. I wasn't walking through campus. I wasn't as busy. And so I started putting on the weight. I got my first 9-to-5 job, and I remember being so insanely tired. Like, I remember getting up in the morning, you know, half awake. I'm like putting on a little bit of makeup, but not a ton because I had to wear a mask at work. I worked in person, but it was also during COVID. So I was like, whatever, I can be like a little lazy with it, whatever. I remember getting dressed, and that was something that was so challenging for me because I feel like when I gained weight, I didn't necessarily start buying clothes that fit me because I was in denial, right? Like, I just thought like, oh, I wear this size, I continue buying this size when I buy clothes. I didn't really realize until I do remember one time finally accepting to myself that my jeans didn't fit anymore and I could wear jeans to work. It was kind of like a more casual place. I was like, oh, like I actually have to increase jean size. But even then I was like, wait, this is probably just kind of a part of getting older. I didn't think I was actually gaining weight. I was just like, oh, I'm not in college anymore. My jean size went up. It's okay, which it is okay. But how I was going about it, just where I was at that point, like it wasn't okay, right? Like it wasn't okay. I was not treating myself well at all. But my point is, I remember getting ready for work in the morning, getting to work, coming home from work, and going straight to bed. I had no energy to do anything at all. Go straight to bed, or I'd get home, I would pig out on a meal because I was so hungry. Then I would go straight to bed. I would nap for a few hours, wake up for a few hours, and then go to bed. I feel like the amount I slept was kind of insane. And I take naps every once in a while here. You know, I don't always get the best sleep present day, but that's just kind of part of life. Sometimes you stay up, sometimes you just don't sleep the best, whatever. But I remember needing so much sleep and just being crabby. I also remember having a lot of trouble with my sleep, whether it was falling asleep, staying asleep, etc. And this was before I started taking a lot of naps after work. Like, this was an ongoing thing. I don't think it was just like taking naps after work screws up your sleep schedule. I think it was deeper than that. I think because I had no energy, because I just kind of felt weird about myself. Once I started accepting that I wasn't a small person anymore, I started having this weird like competition, and I didn't want to go places. Like, I just felt like everyone was looking at me. I felt like in competition with other like women, which is not the case at all. It was simply something that I had going on in my head that was all wrong and all bad and all due to how I was treating myself. It was just so crazy. And I just remember it, you know, it was a dark time in the world. It was 2020/2021. I started losing weight. I think it was the end of 2021 into 2022. It was a dark time for the world. I know a lot of people gained weight through COVID. It was a lot of just stuff was going down, right? And I just remember like my lifestyle was just so, I think back on it now, just so depressing. Like, I'm a very outgoing and bubbly person, and I just feel like I was so dimmed, but it was all due to what I was doing to myself, and I didn't realize it. I feel like I wanted to be the victim. I felt like this was all happening to me. It was out of my control. Like, I work this dumb job. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like, all this stuff is happening to me. When at the end of the day, no one's gonna come save you. Not everyone is dealt the same cards, and not everyone has the same resources. But at the end of the day, who is gonna pick you up and get you out of where you're gonna be? It's yourself. And sometimes that's hard to hear, but it is the truth. I always think back to, as well, I have a couple like Snapchats saved in my phone of having like 3 coffees at work just to get through the day. I would have a regular coffee, and then I'd have 2 ordered out, like filled with sugar. I'd have the caffeine, but then there'd be all that sugar. It wouldn't help. I would get that sugar crash, and I just hated the day-to-day. I would dread every day until it got to the weekend. And there's more to that than just being unhappy with your weight, right? It had to do with my entire lifestyle. It had to do with how I felt lost, and I didn't know where I wanted to take my life, and just so many, there was more to it than just my weight. But I feel like I let myself have such a poor lifestyle that finally getting into kind of like the health and wellness space was the only thing that really picked me up and got me out of it and turned things around for me. You might relate to some of this. You might relate to all of it, none of it, whatever. But something else I remember is my social life was just not good. And what I mean by that is I feel like because I felt so victimized for no reason, I wasn't pouring into the people around me. And I feel like I was treating people bad. I was like losing friends. I just was not considerate of others. Like, I truly feel like I was in my own world and probably hard to be around, you know? Like, I think back to it and I'm like, how did like my boyfriend like me at the time? And maybe he didn't, I don't know. But it's just like, I look back at who that was and I think about who I am today, and I just feel like such a different person. And it is really crazy how much you can change when you change your day-to-day life. I feel like I was just so inflamed. Not only was I gaining weight, but I was just like puffy all the time, fatigued all the time. Like I said, no energy, and just felt victimized and then didn't treat people well. And I'm not saying that people who are overweight feel this way. I'm saying that the life I was living that allowed me to start putting on weight, what I was doing day to day and how I was living at that time was affecting all of these areas. If you're gaining weight, that doesn't mean you're gonna act like this. But for me, how I was living, it was affecting everything. And I was not treating myself or others around me well. It's all so crazy when I think back to it. And these are all things too where I never knew it was happening while it was going on in the moment. I was putting pieces together after the fact. I was acting in certain ways and just didn't realize it. I was very oblivious and just very closed-minded and, like I said, in my own world. But I did have to be in that era for me to get to this phase of life. You know what I mean? And at that time, I really just thought that it was normal. Like, I thought it was normal to dread the day-to-day. I'm like, oh, everyone hates their job. Everyone hates their 9 to 5. Like, this is what post-college life is like. Like, it just sucks. It just sucks. But it's like, life doesn't have to just suck. It truly doesn't have to just suck. I thought, you know, as I get older, like this is just what adults deal with. This is how getting older feels. I graduated college. I'm going to be, you know, 23, then 24, all the way. I'm going to be reaching 30 in the next however many years. Like, you just get older and you just feel like shit. Like, that's just kind of what I thought. But getting older does not have to come with feeling terrible. It's something I've learned even within the past year. You know, you may feel bad in college because you're running on low sleep, you're eating whatever weird foods, you're drinking a ton of alcohol, like you're just in a weird 4 years of your life, but that's not forever. Those habits don't have to stay. It was such a weird transition from college to adult life, and during COVID for me, I just feel like I really was having a harder time than I believed in the moment. And I look back on it now and I just keep thinking about how she was sad and she felt trapped and she was lost, and it's okay to go through a point like that. I wish I could reach back into that year and just hug her and be like, hey girlfriend, this isn't forever. Like, your life isn't gonna be this way forever, but you have to pick yourself up. And the crazy thing is too, I currently eat what I consider, well, healthy. I have much better eating habits. I've healed my relationship with food so much. I have a regular workout schedule. I love going to the gym. Like, I truly believe I'm in a very good place with all of that. And I create a lot of content around that now, right? Which I didn't prior, of course, because I didn't do that stuff. And the crazy thing is, like, sometimes people will ask me, like, oh, do you think about food and exercise all the time because you talk about it so much in your YouTube videos? And the answer is no. Like, I thought about it 24/7 when I was in such a dark place. I don't think about it 24/7 now. You know, I thought about it more when I had worse habits and didn't have nutrition and exercise as a part of my life. I thought about food and exercise and all of that much, much more then than I do now, which is almost ironic. It's not like one day I woke up and it was just like, I love exercise. You know, it was a very slow and steady thing. I tried this, I tried that. I kept trying things till I found what I liked. I loved incline walking. Then I started to get into the weights. I love lifting. And the thing is, it is so incredible how you can really sculpt your body and obtain a great physique with putting in the work and eating right. But more than that, it is so insane the difference I feel day to day when I move my body versus when I don't. I truly don't look at it as a punishment or as a way to burn calories or any of that. I literally look at it as, if I do this, I'm gonna feel 10 times better today. I'm gonna feel 10 times better tomorrow. I'm gonna sleep 10 times better tonight. I'm gonna wake up feeling 10 times better tomorrow morning. It's just so crazy how crucial working out consistently is for me and my mental health, and it just makes me feel amazing. Not to mention, okay, obviously when you finish a workout, you're like, oh, I feel great, but also during it, when I'm actually in the act of, I'm in the gym and I'm lifting a weight, I feel strong and I feel cool, especially because it's something I've never done before. It's not like I grew up going to the gym. I didn't know anything about weightlifting. That was all new to me the past 2 years, really. And honestly, mostly new to me this year. I didn't start really getting into weights and consistently doing it and learning a ton about it until this year, like this January of 2024. I tried a little bit last year, but like this year was such a big year for me for the gym, and I just love it. You learn a new exercise and you're perfecting a skill and you're working towards something. And then, you know, once you get good at the skill, you can make it harder. You can challenge your body. You can see what it can do. And it is just so cool that you can lift heavy things. You can create this able body that's gonna carry you through the rest of your life. And the more muscle I build now, the better I'm setting myself up for my future. For if I have kids one day, for when I start to grow older, you know, for my mobility, just for everything from now until the end. Having more muscle and practicing these things is only benefiting me. And the thing is too, you don't have to start and go crazy. Starting slow is way better than going all in, and I will preach that with literally everything. You don't have to be in the gym every day. You know, you can start off once, you can start off twice a week, you can work up to it until whatever feels good for you. But even just getting a couple workouts in throughout the week enhances my day-to-day, my week by week, my months, my years, and I just wake up better. I'm more happy with my body, obviously, but I also feel more in tune. And it's also crazy to think, you know, when I put certain things in my body, the response I get, right? Like if I eat a handful of Oreos, which I literally did that yesterday. I'm not saying I don't do that, but I had a few Oreos yesterday. I immediately get done and I'm like, wow, I feel like I need a nap, you know, because it's a bunch of like processed sugar and stuff. And there's a time and place always, but I don't do that every day, right? I find that when I'm eating high protein, I'm eating lots of meat, and I have fruits and veggies and fiber and things in my diet, like I truly just wake up feeling better, and I want to do more. I want to be more productive, and I want to get more out of my life. I think the best form of self-love and self-care is being disciplined and having routines and making time for the gym, because that's the thing, is a lot of people are like, oh, like I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. You make time. You can make time. I know it's much harder for certain people, and you're probably looking at me like, wow, Morgan, you're a YouTuber. You can go to the gym whenever you want. That is true. And I acknowledge that so often, that I have so much freedom and flexibility. It is not that easy for everyone. You might have kids. But you know what? Setting the example for your children is also incredible. That's something I plan to do. Like, I want to work out for the people around me, not just for myself. I want to show up for the people around me as well as myself. And I feel like once you become disciplined and keep up these things, you just want to keep going, and you just want to keep getting better. And not only does it develop drive in you, but it can affect like your work ethic. It can affect so much in your life. Simply getting into this world of things, I think, increased my life like so much. I also think about the fact that I'm reducing risk of disease and trying to add years onto my life by living a healthy lifestyle. Again, the word healthy, I know, can be very crazy. Like, it can mean so many different things. So I'm not trying to just be like, oh, what I do is healthy, you have to do what I do, because that's not it, right? That's not it. Your lifestyle could be completely opposite of mine, and what is healthy to you could be not healthy to me, whatever. But I just think trying to be strong and trying to fuel my body is the best thing I've ever done for myself. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, and why I could talk about it forever. And why I just love, like, when I vlog day to day, I'm like, oh my gosh, and this tip, and this makes me feel good, but I do this. And then I also talk about the struggles, like, I'm having a hard time doing this, or I'm in this phase of life, right? Because you're not gonna feel your absolute best every single day. But how I feel now, even on a bad day, is still a million times better than how I felt in my before on a good day. And I feel like a lot of this is almost cliche in the fact that you just assume, oh, when you're, in a poor lifestyle routine, you're gonna be tired and whatever, and then when you work on yourself, you're gonna be happier. Maybe some of this is very obvious to you, but I truly don't think that you understand just how good you can feel until you are in the momentum of fueling your body properly, working out, trying to build muscle. When you're actually in the rhythm, you're getting sleep at night, you just feel so good. I feel like I would wake up and have this drive for life that I didn't always used to have. I truly believe that a good diet and exercise and sleep routine can fix so many problems that the average person might have. And I know there are things out there that are way more complex than this, but I feel like if you start here with your lifestyle and what you do on the day-to-day, you can improve so much. It's literally amazing. And I do want to point out, like, there are struggles that the gym and a good meal can't fix, right? But I do think it's such a good start, especially if you don't prioritize this stuff at all. It's such a good start to leading you down a better path and just building out other things in your life. Day to day, like, everything you do makes up your life. Everything you do, every choice you make on a daily basis is a habit. Whether you wake up at this time, you eat this for breakfast, whatever you do, like, if it's something you do routinely, it is a habit. And changing my habits truly changed my life. And not even in an obsessive way. I just feel like once you explore this world of things, you want to dive deeper into it. And not me, all of a sudden, I feel like I'm making it sound like a cult. It is not a cult. Going to the gym and eating well is not a cult, but I just feel like I can't express or put it into enough words to explain how empowering it is. And you have to experience it yourself to really understand what I mean. But it truly is life-changing. I feel great on the day-to-day. I feel better in my clothes. I do. I am more confident. I have more energy. I am happier. And my body doesn't fluctuate a ton anymore. I mean, it does fluctuate, right? And also, I always want to point out, if you are a woman with a regular cycle, that is always going to affect things as well. I am in my luteal phase right now, so I have been sleeping in, and I know that I'm going to be PMSing any day now. That's just part of it. I'm going to be bloated pretty soon, no matter what I eat, because I always get super bloated on my period, whatever. Like, that's just part of life, if you can relate to that aspect of things. But also, I used to, like, yo-yo diet and lose the same 10 10 pounds, then gain it back and all this stuff so often. And I just don't do that anymore. I am consistent with my habits because of how it makes me feel, but I also don't have to like prepare my body and plan for events, and like it just doesn't fluctuate as much anymore. I have different weeks, months, eras, whatever, where I'm more on top of my game, and I can see a difference in my body. I was just in New York for a week and I have a little bit of, fat and inflammation right now, but as I adjust back into routine, it's gonna disappear and I'm not worried about it. But it's just the feeling and how I feel like a totally different person after adopting this lifestyle. And this lifestyle can mean so many different things. It's gonna be different for you than it is for me, but that's the beauty in it. Eating healthy and working out can look so different for each person, and you have to find what works for you, and finding that takes time and trial and error, and you gotta put in the work, but you are the person that's gonna do it for you and pick you up. And if you want to change your life, you have to be the one to do it. And I have before and after pictures and before and after phases of life and whatever, and I can show you these pictures all I want, but I just can't explain the feeling you feel when you are prioritizing your health. It makes every day better. And don't you want to live a life where you just feel better day to day and you're not constantly dreading everything and constantly feeling so tired and just like life is so dull? I just think a healthy lifestyle can truly change your life because of what it teaches you. It's kind of like a solid foundation to so many other aspects of your life. And it's about putting in the work. It's about earning it. It's about doing it yourself. But I truly feel like if you want to change anything about your life and you don't know where to start, this is where you should start. I get so inspired every time I talk about this stuff, every time I hear other people talk about this stuff. I just truly love it. And I would never want to go back to a point in my life where I don't prioritize exercise and I don't try to eat well, because again, I just can't explain how amazing you do feel when you are consistently doing those things. And balance is key. You're not gonna be perfect every day. You're also not gonna be motivated every day. That's why it's crucial to have discipline and build habits and routines that you can stick to. Make it easy so that you're less likely to skip it. Make it convenient so you're less likely to skip it. If you don't wanna do it, tell yourself you're gonna do it for 5-10 minutes max and then leave. Chances are you get there and you wanna keep going. Something is always better than nothing. 3 days a week of working out can be enough. You don't have to be in the gym 5 to 6 days a week. You don't. You simply do not. I'm giving you permission right now. You don't have to do that. You also don't have to be a runner if you don't want to be a runner. I'm very big on finding what works for you. And I never thought I'd be someone to lift weights because I thought that was kind of scary, but I love it. And I want to encourage you, if you've never tried, to try it. So I just wanted to chat about this stuff because I truly feel like my life is so different from a few years ago, as it should be. But who did that? Me. Who do I have to thank? Me. And I almost feel imposter syndrome saying that because I'm like, I'm not really that great. But it's also like, if I look at then and I look at now, it's not like someone hand delivered that to me. It's not like someone was just like, here you go, here's a new you. No, I did that. I put in the work. I did the learning. I did the trial and error. I took the time to create a life I want to live. And I'm still working on so much, right? Like I feel like I'm in the era right now of I want a new routine. I feel like some things aren't working out for me. I could be better at this, at that, whatever. And you're always gonna, be a work in progress, and that's totally okay. But this stuff just gives you such a great foundation and can change your life. It truly can. I just wholeheartedly believe that. Call it delusion, call it, I don't know, literally facts. But this is your sign. If you're looking for a sign, get into working out, get into eating well, and see what it can do for you. I love you so much. I hope you like this chat. And if you don't know where to start and you want me to talk more about that stuff, let me know. I have a couple how to start your fitness journey videos on my channel, but I could always make more and update them. I'll link those in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. I'm rooting for you. Please subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you in my next one.